Hello and namaste to dear students and all our valued viewers. You are welcome to Teach Nepal. In this video, I am going to deal with the second story of grade 11 English called A Respectable Woman, written by Kate Chopin. In this video, I'll deal with the summary and its easy explanation along with the answers of the exercises at the end of this presentation. So please watch the video till the end. Now let me get started with the background of the author. Kate Chopin, she was an American novelist and short story writer. Most of her writings, they are based on the sexual frankness, right, and about feminism. So other information you can get it from here. So the characters, let us get started with the character. The first character is Mrs. Baroda. She is the wife of Gaston Baroda. They work in their plantation farm, in the sugar plantation they work. Next is Gaston Baroda himself, Mrs. Baroda's husband. He is another character. This is somehow unique. It has its unique pronunciation. This is Gouvernais. We call Gouvernaya, right? This is a French name, so it is somehow difficult to pronounce. And he was a college friend of Mrs. Baroda's husband, or Gaston Baroda. This Gouvernaya. So these are the three main characters. These are the characters of the story, and the whole story revolves around these characters. Mainly it revolves around the internal conflict of Mrs. Baroda, because she was attracted by her husband's friend. This is Gouvernaya. Setting up the story takes place on Gaston Baroda's sugar plantation in it was set in 1880s or early 1890s. If you go through the plot of this story, then I hope the whole story will be clear. The exposition, how does the problem rise in the story? You see, Mrs. Baroda and her husband are to receive a guest. He is Gouvernaya at the sugar plantation. But at first she was insisting, or she was refusing this. She didn't like to invite, because she was about to have a rest after working there in the winter. Rising action, Mrs. Baroda was surprised with Gouvernaya, whom she expected to be cynical, and she rather liked him when she saw at once. पहिला चाहिँ उसलाई नराम्रो होला अथवा स्लिम होला, राइट, अलिकति appearance different होला भन्ने लागिरहेको थियो. But when she saw him, she liked him at once. Climax, Mrs. Baroda gets romantically and physically attracted to Gouvernaya. उसको आफ्नो हस्बन्डको फ्रेन्डसँग चाहिँ she got attracted, but she could not disclose that to neither her husband nor to that Gouvernaya. Falling action, Mrs. Baroda contemplates telling her husband about her folly, about that kind of contemplation, or that kind of temptation, right? But decides not to do it and leaves early in the morning to the city, where she stays until Gouvernaya is gone from the plantation, right? She could not say that thing to anyone, so she went out of the city. She leaves that place and goes to the city, and she got back only after Gouvernaya went out from that plantation. Resolution, Gaston wants Gouvernaya to return the next summer. So you see here, Mrs. Baroda refuses at first. Later on, she proposes herself to her husband for Gouvernaya's visit, and say that she would treat him more nicely this time, right? So this is the these are the main ideas, or this is the plot: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution of this story. Now let me lead you to the summary. Mrs. Baroda is somewhat disappointed to learn that her husband's friend Gouvernaya is planning to spend a week or two at the plantation, since they had been busy all winter and had planned a period of rest and conversation with her husband. Gaston Baroda, all right? So At first, she didn't like the plan of her husband, right? As they were about to have a rest, after working there in the all winterमा काम गरिरहेको भएर चाहिँ she wanted to have planned to have a rest there, so she didn't like that thing. And even she has never met Guvenaya, right? कहिले भेटेको पनि छैन. And according to him, he was a journalist. Husband ko अनुसार चाहिँ he was a journalist, right? She pictures him as tall, slim, right? Cynical man, and did not like the mental image. उसले आफ्नो बनाएको mental image यस्तो होला भन्ने खालको लागेको थियो, and she didn't like him. But when she meets the slim but he was neither tall nor cynical, right? And she finds that she actually likes him. उसलाई चाहिँ मन परिरहेको हुन्छ, right? And Mrs. Baroda can't find out why she likes Guvenaya. उसलाई चाहिँ किन मन परिरहेछ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ she could not find it out, since she doesn't see all the positive traits described by Gaston. आफ्नो हस्बेन्डले भनेको कुराहरू चाहिँ जुन गुवेनायामा चाहिँ त्यो क्वालिटीहरू त्यो ट्रेट्सहरू छ भनिरहेको हुन्थ्यो. she did not find any such things. He does not seem brilliant, but he does seem quite and courteous. मान्छे शान्त भने अलिकति courteous भनेको अलिकति polite टाइपको, right? Humble टाइपको, in response to her eagerness to welcome him and her husband's hospitality. So she found him totally different than her husband described him to be. These are the things here. Next, you see, although Guvenaya puzzles Mrs. Baroda, he is lovable and inoffensive. ऊ चाहिँ त्यस्तो खालको offensive टाइपको पनि छैन, and he is even lovable. She leaves him alone with her husband, right, at first, but begins to accompany him on walks as she attempts to overcome his reticence. भनेको उसलाई चाहिँ सजेस्ट गरेर हुन्छ, रिकमेन्ड गरेर हुन्छ to be frank, to be talkative also, right? And Gaston tells Mrs. Baroda that Guvenaya does not expect a commotion over his presence, हैन? उसले चाहिँ त्यो खालको interference अथवा त्यो खालको commotion चाहदैन, that he simply wishes for a break from his busy life, right? ऊ चाहिँ त्यहाँ आफ्नो बिजी लाइफबाट एउटा ब्रेक लिन अथवा रेस्ट लिनको लागि आएको थियो, right? And although she declares that she expected him to be more interesting, उसलाई चाहिँ गुवेनाया अलिकति इन्ट्रेस्टिङ होस् भन्ने लागिरहेको हुन्थ्यो, right? Then later that night she sits by herself on a bench, feeling confused, right? Feeling confused and wanting to leave the plantation for a while, right? केही समयको लागि प्लान्टेसनबाट अलि पर गएर चाहिँ she was sitting somewhere, having told her husband that she might go to the city in the morning, right? म भोलि बिहान चाहिँ सिटी जान्छु होला भनेर, and stay with her aunt. She would stay with her aunt there, right? While she sits, Guvenaya sees her and sits next to her. उसले चाहिँ एउटा उसको चाहिँ स्कार्फ लिएर चाहिँ गएको हुन्छ, right? तपाईको स्कार्फ चाहिँ छुटेको रहेछ भनेर her husband, right, asked him to give that scarf, so that Guvenaya went there, not knowing her displeasure at his presence. उसको प्रेजेन्समा चाहिँ उ चाहिँ त्यति खुसी भइरहेको हुँदैन थियो जब गुवेनाया चाहिँ मिसेस बरोडा बसिरहेको ठाउँमा चाहिँ स्कार्फ लिएर गइरहेको हुन्छ, right? Next we have here till this we are discussing how this Guvenaya and Mrs. Baroda, they are facing each other and they are considering each other, right? Next, after this Guvenaya met Mrs. Baroda there, right, and she shared everything about Mr. Baroda or Gaston, that they had a real interesting life during their college life there. Guvenal hands her scarf on Gaston's behalf and murmurs about the night, and his silence disappears as he becomes talkative for the first time, right? Started talking in front of her. He speaks to her of the old day, हैन, आफ्नो पुरानो दिनहरुको बारेमा चाहिँ कुरा गर्न थालिरा हुन्छ. Speaks of the old days and of desire for a peaceful existence. she does not listen to his word. उसले के भनिरहेछ सुनिरहेदैन. So much as his voice, and she thinks of drawing him closer, right? उसले मिसेस बरोडाले चाहिँ गुबेनायरलाई सुनिरहेको हुँदैन, बट सी थिङ्क्स अफ ड्रइङ हिम क्लोजर, होइन, उसको नजिकै जाउँ अथवा उसलाई नजिकै तानौँ, बट सी रेसिस्ट बिकज सी इज अ रेस्पेक्टेबल वुमन. उसलाई आफूलाई चाहिँ म रेस्पेक्टेबल वुमन हो भन्ने लागिरहेको हुन्छ. सो सी रेसिस्ट अर सी रिफ्युजेस टु डु द्याट. दिस सोज मिसेस बरोडा इज इमोसनली रोमान्टिकली सी इज अट्र्याक्टेड टु दिस गुबेनायर. Mrs. Baroda wants to tell Gaston of her strange folly, but she realizes sensibly that she must handle this feeling by herself. होइन, उसलाई आफ्नो लागिरहेको कुरा चाहिँ भनौँ जस्तो लाग्छ आफ्नो हस्बेन्डलाई, but she refused doing that. The next morning she leaves for the city and does not return until Gouvernail departs from the house, right? As we discussed this in the plot also. Next we have here Gaston wants Gouvernail to return the next summer. अब केही समयपछि चाहिँ फेरि चाहिँ ग्यास्टनले चाहिँ गुबेनायरलाई नेक्स्ट समरमा चाहिँ आउनको लागि भनेर आउँछ. बट मिसेस बरोडा रिफ्युजेस द्याट थिङ. होइन, सुरुमा चाहिँ उसले रिफ्युज गरेर आउँछ, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम सी प्रपोजेस हर सेल्फ, होइन, टु हर हस्बेन्ड टु इन्भाइट गुबेनायल, राइट, टु देयर फार्म हाउस or to their plantation. Because of this, her husband was so surprised, Gaston was so surprised, and she says that she will overcome everything. This has a special meaning, होइन, सबै कुराहरू चाहिँ मैले फुलफिल गर्नेछु. एन्ड सी सेज द्याट सी विल नाउ ट्रिट हिम मोर नाइसली. होइन, यो टाइम चाहिँ मैले पहिलाको जस्तो चाहिँ नेग्लिजेन्स गर्ने छैन, एन्ड आई विल ट्रिट हिम मोर नाइसली. दिस हेज मच मिनिङ इन दिस स्टोरी, राइट? सो यो भनेको चाहिँ माइट बी सी इज अट्र्याक्टेड टु हिम एन्ड she wants to enjoy her life with him there, right, when he comes back there. अब यसलाई चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट वेबाट इन्टरप्रेट गर्न सकिन्छ, राइट? सो दिस इज द ओभरअल समरी अफ दिस स्टोरी. नाउ एनालिसिस. लभ एन्ड एट्र्याक्सन doesn't understand it doesn't understand the social boundary, or it goes beyond the social boundary. भनेको social values and norms भन्दा माथि जान सक्छ भन्ने कुराहरू. or social values and norms, they can't limit the scope of love. Social rules and assumptions suppress the desire and interest of a woman. जसरी of a woman it should be. जसरी चाहिँ त्यहाँ you see there this Mrs. Baroda is unable to share her feelings, right, or express her feeling towards this Gouvernail. This is how a woman is forced to suppress or to keep that within herself, right? So the short story, A Respectable Woman, is structured around the character of Mrs. Baroda and her inner conflict as she finds herself attracted to her husband's friend. Alright, this is how we have discussed the climax, the exposition, climax, falling action, right, and resolution also. Let's see the themes. It's about identity of person, like a respectable woman she is. So what are her responsibilities? You have studied perceptions, right, people's perceptions, right, how this Gaston, he perceives his friend, and how Mrs. Baroda perceives this Gouvernail, right, appearances of person, desire versus restraint, what is the desire and how they should control that desire, attraction towards a person, right, attraction towards Gouvernail. In case of this Mrs. Baroda, social values and norms, they are discussed there, because this Mrs. Baroda was unable to express her feelings towards Gouvernail because of the fear of social values and norms. She was about to follow that because she was a respectable woman according to her. Exercise from textbook now here, you see. Why was Mrs. Baroda unhappy with the information about Gouvernail's visit to their farm? Mrs. Baroda was unhappy with the information about Gouvernail's visit to their farm because she was looking forward to a period of unbroken rest after having worked hard in winter. Alright. Next, how was Gouvernail different from Mrs. Baroda's expectation? Mrs. Baroda had unconsciously formed an image of Gouvernail in her mind. She expected him to be tall, slim, cynical, with eyeglasses and his hands in his pockets, and she didn't like him. But Gouvernail was slim enough, right? He wasn't very tall nor very cynical. Neither did he wear eyeglasses nor carry his hands in his pockets, and she rather liked him when he first presented himself. How does next one? How does Mrs. Baroda compare Gouvernail with her husband? You see there, Mrs. Baroda finds Gouvernail less sociable compared to her husband. She could discover in him none of those brilliant and promising traits which Gaston, her husband, had often told to her. Right, these things. Next, number D, E, F. Please go through the answers written here. Somehow you can write the different type of answer also with the same theme, with the same meaning. You can even rephrase these sentences given here. These are the possible answers. All right, this is a matter of language. You can write it in different way also. Talking about reference to the text, it comes to the task for you people there. Here it's asking about the conflict of Mrs. Baroda's mind. So the conflict is attraction to her husband's friend Gouvernail, right? Gouvernail pratiko attraction, that is the cause of conflict, right? And what role does Mrs. Baroda, being a respectable woman, play in the story? She plays the role that is assumed by the society, and society le play assume gareko role चाहिँ she plays there because she is a respectable woman and she should do such things, right? She should not be involved in such kind of affair. She was afraid of that thing, right? In that way she played the role there. You can talk about these things in detail. Number B and C there, sketch the character of Gouvernail and contrast it with Gaston. Gouvernail, he was somehow shy there, though his friends said him that he was talkative, excellent, also brilliant, right? He was lovable, right? He was charming, as discussed or as said by Mrs. Baroda. And Gaston, he's compared, right? They have their different traits, they have their different characters. So you can discuss it on your one there. So number C and D, please do these things on your one, right? Reference to the text, these kind of questions, they are somehow asked for long question also for 5 marks, and other questions, these understanding the text, they are asked for short marks, 2 marks questions. Everybody, how did you like the video? Please write your response in the comment section below. If you like this video and want to watch such videos, please subscribe to our channel Teach Nepal and press the notification bell icon. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe and healthy. We'll meet in the next video. Bye everyone. See you.